The door was noisily unlocked. There was a glimpse of dark sky, and with cold hands Vasilisa closed the bolts. His head swam, and for a moment he thought he was dreaming. His heart almost stopped, then started beating faster and faster. In the lobby, Wanda was sobbing. She collapsed onto a chest, knocking her head against the wall, and big tears poured down her face. God, what's happened to us? God, oh God, Vasya in broad daylight. What are we to do? Shaking like a leaf, Vasilisa stood in front of her, his face contorted. Vasya, screamed Wanda, do you know, they weren't soldiers, they weren't from any headquarters. They were just hoodlums. I know, I realized that, Vasilisa mumbled, spreading his hands in despair. Lord! Wanda exclaimed. You must go this minute, report them at once and try and catch them. Mother of God! All our things. Everything. If only there was somebody who... She shuddered and slid from the chest to the floor, covering her face with her hands. Her hair was disheveled, her blouse unbuttoned at the back. But where do we report them? Asked Vasilisa. To headquarters, for God's sake, to the police. Make a formal complaint. Quickly. What's the matter? Vasilisa, who had been shuffling his feet, suddenly rushed for the door. He ran to the turban's glass door and hammered on it noisily. Everybody except Shervinsky and Elena crowded into Vasilisa's apartment. Laryasik, looking pale, stayed in the doorway. Legs planted wide, Myshlayevsky inspected the foot cloths and other rags abandoned by the unknown visitors and said to Vasilisa, well, you won't see your things again, I'm afraid. They weren't soldiers, just burglars. You can thank God you're still alive. To tell you the truth, I'm amazed they let you off so lightly. God, the things they did to us, said Wanda. They threatened to kill me. Thank the Lord they didn't carry out their threat. First time I've ever seen anything like it. Neat piece of work, Karas added quietly. What do we do now? Asked Vasilisa miserably. Go and complain? But where to? For God's sake advise me, Viktor Viktorovich. Myshlayevsky grunted thoughtfully. I advise you not to complain to anyone, he said. Firstly, they'll never catch them. He crooked his middle finger. Secondly, don't you remember, Vasya, they said you'd be killed if you made a complaint. That's nonsense, Myshlayevsky frowned. No one's going to kill you, but as I say, they'll never be caught, no one will even try and catch them, and secondly, he crooked his second finger, you'll have to describe what they stole, and that means admitting that you were hoarding Tsarist money. No, if you make a complaint to their headquarters or to anywhere else they will almost certainly have you searched again. Yes, very likely, said Nikolka the specialist. Shattered, soaking with the water thrown over him when he fainted, Vasilisa hung his head. Wanda quietly burst into tears and leaned against the wall. They all felt sorry for them. Lariusik sighed deeply in the doorway and turned up his lackluster eyes. We each have our grief to bear, he murmured. What weapons did they have? Asked Nikolka. My God, 2 of them had revolvers. Did the third man have anything, Vasya? 2 of them had revolvers, Vasilisa confirmed weakly. Did you notice what type they were? Nikolka pressed him in a businesslike voice. I don't really know, Vasilisa replied with a sigh, I don't know the various types. One was big and black, the other one was smaller, with a lanyard fixed to a ring on the butt. Yes, that's right, said Wanda, one of them had a lanyard on it. Nikolka frowned and cocked his head to one side like a bird as he looked at Vasilisa. He shuffled awkwardly for a moment, then with an uneasy movement he slipped unobtrusively out of the door, followed by Lariusik. Upstairs, Lariusik had not even reached the dining room when the sound of breaking glass and a howl came from Nikolka's room.